Welcome back, everyone, to the DFS Sweatshop. I'm your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Very interesting game, five game slate tonight. Just wrapped up. It's in the books. The Golden State and Oklahoma City game just went final. So before we jump into the recap of tonight's 5 games, I'm going to do what I always do, give you my best lineup of the night. We'll go through our snowflake of the night. We will go through the heat check player of the night, and also the who dat out of nowhere scoring all those points player of the night. Now, first, when we talk about lineup construction, this is something that I really want to impress on a lot of you, especially if you're new to NBA DFS. You may be coming over from football, coming over from baseball, and you're new to the NBA way. I'm going to kind of give you tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the last few years to develop a steady bankroll building process. Now, I'm not a shark by any means. I don't play in all of the high dollar, high stakes NBA tournaments, but I do like these single entry GPPs. I'm not a cash game player. Playing cash games kind of takes so much guessing what other people are doing that it kind of throws me off of who I feel are going to be great plays. So what I like to do, the formula that I've come up with is I develop my core four. These are 4 guys who, without a doubt, if you put a gun in my head, and if these 4 guys can't produce me, with their salaries combined, that 5 to 6x value, then I won't play them. I pick 4 guys, no matter what price they are. They could be minimum salary up to the highest paid, highest priced player on the slate. I try to pick 4 guys that I know combined are going to give me that 5 to 6x value. And then I find 2 chalk plays, 2 plays that I know are going to be highly owned. A lot of people are going to be on them. People have been talking about them all day. They haven't been talking about them so much to where I want to fade them, but they're not going to go unowned and unknown. 2 of those guys. And then last but not least, because we do have 8 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I like to find 2 value plays. 2 guys that are 4.8K or less who are going to give me that ability to pay up in other spots. And just to give you an example, today I think I tweet out every day, one tweet I sent out every day where I let everybody see my core 4, the 4 guys that are going to return that 6x value with all of their salaries combined. And today, I believe my core 4 was PG-13, Paul George. It was Giannis Antetokounmpo. It was LeBron James, and it was Tristan Thompson. Now, LeBron returned a little more than value. Giannis returned a little more than value. I believe Paul George was right there or slightly under value, but Tristan Thompson more than made up for what I lacked in Paul George. So my core 4 did exceed that 6x value that I was looking for. What we did next, give you the example of the next 2 players that I really liked as far as value plays. One of them was Matt Barnes. I like Matt Barnes today. He kind of sorely let me down, but we'll get into that. He is going to definitely be a major part of the next segment, next thing I'm going to talk about. And I also liked Channing Frye. Now, the reason why I like Channing Frye was because, simply, they played against the Celtics. The Boston Celtics suck at rebounding. They are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. The worst good teams. The worst rebounding good team in the league. So I knew that if I would be getting all the rebounds in this game. So if Tristan Thompson wasn't on the floor getting rebounds, then that meant Channing Frye would be on the floor getting rebounds. And a lot of my rosters, I rostered both of them. Now, my 2 chalky plays, and sometimes the core 4 sometimes one or two of them may be mixed in with the chalk, but a lot of people weren't on LeBron James. He was 15% on. A lot of people were not on. Giannis was actually kind of chalky too, but I really thought Elfrid Payton and Evan Fournier were going to be relatively high owned, somewhere hovering around that 20%. That where when they had pretty good games, they were very safe. They would keep me with the field, and this is a lineup that I kind of moved off of that. As you can see, probably the best play on this line was actually Karl Anthony Towns, and we spoke about him in yesterday's show simply because he was due for a big game, and going against Denver, the situation with certain players being out, Gary Harris not being in, Will Barton being out. A lot of times, see, rebounding and defense is all about balance and stability. And when you have a team that just lost a few players, there's going to be that imbalance, that instability. And I really thought that Karl Anthony Towns would be able to take advantage of that, especially on the blocks, getting some points and some rebounds, and he definitely did that tonight. So let's go over this lineup. We started, of course, with Elfrid Payton against Sacramento. Orlando won this game, and he had 3 rebounds, 11 assists, 6 points. Really left a lot to be desired in the points category. This could have been a lot better game for Elfrid Payton. Evan Fournier was my shooting guard in this lineup. He had 1 rebound. He made 3 3-pointers, had 29 points, 3 turnovers, and 1 assist. He didn't do much in the way of the other counting stats, but that point explosion he had in, I believe, the third quarter was what really made him reach that value that I was looking for. Next is going to be LeBron James, part of my core 4. He started off slow. Boston was able to keep the game pretty close late in the third quarter. They were down as much as like 15 at one point, but then they came back, and that kept LeBron on the floor a little longer than a lot of us thought he would, and he ended up with 7 rebounds, 1 3-pointer, 12 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 30 points, and of course, he did reach the double-double bonus and finished with 59.75 DraftKings points, just above that desired 6x value that we were looking for. Channing Frye, of course, was a play that we talked about earlier as far as his rebounding. He got 2 rebounds, 3 3-pointers, 1 steal, 1 turnover, and 11 points. So I didn't get the rebounds that I thought I would get from Channing Frye, but that's why I had Tristan Thompson in the lineup as well. And he had 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 15 points. And of course, he did reach the double-double bonus. He had 43.5 DraftKings points, and Channing Frye had 16.5, which was still making value for a player. He was minimum salary. Channing Frye was min salary. So he did make the estimated 5x for me. The next player we're going to talk about was definitely a part of the core 4. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He had 7 rebounds, 9 assists, and he was definitely on the triple-double watch. 2 blocks, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, and 27 points for a 55.25 DraftKings score, which definitely took him over that value for me. The next play is going to be Matt Barnes. Now, I thought he would go low-owned. I really thought he would go low-owned, and that's why I had him in there. He had some pretty good games a couple games back, and I thought, well, maybe I should take a chance on Matt Barnes, especially in this, this matchup against the Orlando defense, which was really kind of bad. And he had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and 2 points, and that earned him the pure snowflake of the night. This lineup, everyone was on fire. This is the only snowflake. There's always that one. Tonight, it is you, Matt Barnes, the snowflake of the night. Okay. Now, Karl Anthony Towns rounded out the lineup. Now, I initially had Paul George in this spot, and I couldn't afford to pay that high up for him. We talked about Karl Anthony Towns having a good game at some point. I thought this was the spot for him to do it, so I was more than happy. Excuse me. I was more than happy to roster Karl Anthony Towns at that depressed price point. It's probably the lowest we're going to see it all year long. And he went out. He had 14 rebounds. He made 2 3-pointers, had 32 points, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, and of course he reached a double-double bonus for 60 DraftKings points. And Matt Barnes, the last time I will ever mention his name on this show, he had 6.25, and this lineup earned me a total of 29.875 DraftKings points. 1 rebound away from the 300 club. This was my best lineup, and you know how it kind of sucks because this is the best lineup I had tonight, and it was also the lineup that I entered in the single entry GPPs. That rarely happens. Rarely happens. I make quite a few lineups, and it rarely happens that the best one is the one I entered in the single entry GPPs. And this lineup pretty much saved my night. It pretty much saved my night because I cashed in all of them. Let's check them out. You look over here. Now, we had this lineup in the 30K and one. I believe that is a dollar tournament, and we finished 1122nd out of 35,000. We had this lineup 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I really like this lineup going in. I really did. So I entered this 5 times. I had it in the NBA 5K. This is a $5 single entry GPP. I finished 39th out of 1,100 rather. And the NBA K, the daily dollars, the dollar tournament, I finished 113th out of 4,700. And of course, the NBA jump shot single entry. I believe that was a $3 buy-in. That was a $3 buy-in, and I finished 48th out of 1,568 other contestants. So hopefully I can do this again, but with a higher score and a bigger payout. I was able to just over double my complete buy-in. I believe I cashed in almost every lineup. No, I didn't, with the exception of which one? With the exception of 275, 262. This is the only lineup that I did not cash in. This is my worst lineup of the night. And as you can see, I stuck pretty much to my core 4, the guys that I really liked. I had Giannis, I had LeBron in here. Thaddeus Young killed me. He was definitely a contestant for the snowflake of the night, but he didn't make it. Somebody was worse than him. And Mirza Teletovic, I wouldn't do that to him because he knew he's not that good. We all know he's not that good. That was just a tournament flyer, hoping maybe he'd get hot. He hit 1 3-pointer. That was it. And this one finished with 262, just under the cash line. Now let's do a quick recap of last night's games. We are going to start in Sacramento, of course, and wrap up there. Now, Rudy Gay was somebody who I had in a lot of lineups. Not a lot of points here. He had 16 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal in 31 minutes. Boogie actually is getting back on track. He had a really great game. 33 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals with a block. Costa Koufos in 20 minutes had 2 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And we had Omri Caspi. We have an Omri Caspi sighting. He had 11 points, 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal. Ben McLemore, who we did talk about in yesterday's session, he had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. So I did have somewhere to go other than the snowflake of the night, but hey, that's what it is. All right, the Orlando side of the ball, Vucevic, man, we kind of liked him throughout the day going in, but that matchup with Boogie kind of concerned me, so I didn't play him in any spots actually. And he went out and had 10 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Aaron Gordon got back on track. He had 13 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And of course, Evan Fournier led the team in scoring and minutes. He had 29 points, a rebound, and an assist. Alfred Payton, we talked about him. 11 assists, kind of saved his night. 6 points and 3 rebounds. And I was tempted to go Biyombo, but for some reason he cannot find his niche on this team. I don't know if there's even enough room for Bismack Biyombo. This is a guy who is a stone cold rebounder, offensive rebounder more than anything, and he can't seem to find his way on this roster. Next game is going to be the Indiana Pacers going to Milwaukee to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. And Paul George, he had a pretty decent game. Kind of not what I was projecting when I looked at him and had him a part of the core four we developed. But he had 23 points, led the team in minutes, 37 minutes, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So he kind of did make up for the low point totals and the low assist totals, getting the steals and the blocks. You know, he's a very good defensive player. Thad Young in 27 minutes, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. Miles Turner, 15, 2, 1 assist, and 2 steals. And Monte Ellis had a fairly decent game. The assist numbers is what really helped to save his fantasy evening. He had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3 steals. George Teague with a really nice game, 16, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. And CJ Miles, who I really liked and had in a few spots here. Any guy that's like better than Matt Barnes, I'm gonna say talk about them. But CJ Miles, he had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals in 23 minutes. And we've got to watch this because CJ Miles is going to stay at that low salary. But since Rodney Stuckey is out, he is always going to be a viable punt option at your shooting guard or even at your utility spots to pay up for someone else. Next game we're going to be recapping is going to be the Denver Nuggets going to Minnesota. Now, of course, we like Karl Anthony Towns in this game, but there were some other fantasy options here. I'm sorry, that's the league pass opening up every time I go in. So let's start on the Minnesota side of the ball. We had Andrew Wiggins with 25 points. That was big. 3 rebounds, 1 assist in 34 minutes. Of course, we talked about Karl Anthony Towns with 32 and 14. Zach LaVine, a kind of underwhelming performance, especially for playing that many minutes. I mean, this guy gets 35 minutes. Ricky Rubio is out. He comes up with 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Chris Dunn didn't really score a lot. He had 3 points, but he had 5 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals. So you did get what you wanted to get if you did roster Chris Dunn, and I had him in a couple spots also. Nomia Bielita, 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist in 22 minutes. And Gorgie Jang, I'm sorry. He was definitely in the running for the Snowflake of the Night, but I didn't start him anywhere, and fuck Matt Barnes, so Matt Barnes is still the Snowflake of the Night. On the other side of the ball, the Denver Nuggets, Danilo Gallinari, the price came down on him. He was 5.8K, should have been more in consideration than he had been for me, but he goes out and he has 19 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and exceeds value. He does. Nikolai Jokic, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and I didn't really like him too much last night, so I didn't play with him anywhere. But we've got Yusuf Nurkic, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Really filled the stat sheet up. Had a fairly decent game against Karl Anthony Towns. Now, I got sucked into the Jamal Murray thing with the Twitter hype, and you just hate to have that guy go off at that cheaper salary and you not be a part of it. So I did have him in some spots. I actually got off of Matt Barnes' bitch ass to get him. So, you know, whatever. It was still the same. But he had 3 rebounds and 4 assists with 5 steals. I mean, excuse me, with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Now, Moutier had a really good game, especially when it came on the defensive end. In 32 minutes, he had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 steals. That was very good for him. Wilson Chandler, who I should have gave more consideration to. Well, one of our Twitter followers from the sweatshop was asking me about Wilson Chandler, what I thought about him, and I really hadn't thought about him. But he goes out and he has 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 steal at that very low salary. Jameer Nelson came off the bench and had a wonderful game in 33 minutes, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. Now, we can't forget, this guy was once a starter in this league. He's a savvy veteran, and he is somebody who we can consider as we move along throughout the NBA season. The next game is going to be the Boston Celtics going to Cleveland, taking on the Cavaliers. Now, you know, a lot of people thought this game was going to be a blowout. I didn't at all, because I knew what Boston was working with on the perimeter. I knew that where Cleveland scored their points would be on the perimeter, and I knew that where Boston played their best defense would be on the perimeter. Now, I didn't like the Boston side enough to actually roster some guys, because it was going to be hard for me to pinpoint who was going to do the scoring fantasy-wise. I knew I didn't like Amir Johnson. I knew I didn't like Tyler Zeller, because they're not very good rebounders. So I just more or less stacked more on the Cleveland side. And just to get into it, see what they did. LeBron James had 30 points, although he started slow. 7 rebounds, 12 assists, 1 steal. Kevin Love, 26 and 8 rebounds with 1 assist and 2 blocks. Tristan Thompson had a monster game, 15 points, 14 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and 3 blocks. And Kyrie Irving was his usual self. He went out and had 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists, with Josh Smith laying an egg out there. We had Iman Shumpert came off of the bench in 25 minutes and got 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. On the Boston side, Avery Bradley had another good game. This dude has stepped up his game to the next level, man. Avery Bradley is balling, bro. He is balling. And he went out and had 26 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Isaiah Thomas is also in the groove right now. 30 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists from him. Tyler Zeller had a double-double, the one I was looking for last night. He had it tonight. He had 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. And Jaylen Brown started the game for Channing Crowder. That was insane. That wasn't a part of my thought process when I saw the Channing Crowder injury from last night and Jaylen Brown being so cheap and getting the start tonight. And he had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Excellent game. And for that, Jaylen Brown is the who dat player of the night. Now, I don't know how long he's going to be in the starting role, but he had an excellent game. He is a rookie. He's only going to get better. He's playing with a really good team. His confidence should stay up because they're going to be winning. This is somebody I think we can look to going forward as the season progresses. The next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder going to the Golden State Warriors. And you know what? As much as I hated what this guy did, I definitely didn't want to name him the heat check player tonight. He saw kind of limited action too in the fourth quarter. Didn't really need to be out there and almost hurt his elbow while he was continuing to lay the smackdown on the Oklahoma City Thunder. But man, Kevin Durant, what an excellent game from Kevin Durant. 31 minutes, 39 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. And it wasn't the fact that he scored 39 points. It was the dramatic fashion in which he did. I mean, you could see Russell Westbrook's emotion as they were on the floor together, but they were going against each other. Russell Westbrook looked like he really did not want to play against Kevin Durant. Not that, Kevin Durant's better than him, or he just looked like, I don't know, it seemed like he was like letting his best friend take his girl to the prom. You know what I'm saying? Like just the look on his face was just complete disappointment. Because I mean, I'm sure he saw all of the stuff go on throughout the season or the off season. But to actually get on the floor with a guy that was your teammate that you really cared so much about, for him to be playing against you, to leave you and play against you, I'm sure it hurt him, and it really showed on the court. Draymond Green was on triple-double watch. He had 9 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. Zaza Pachulia had a really good game, 8 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. At that salary, man, $3.8K, it could have did some damage in this GPP. But hindsight is foresight. We keep moving. You know what I mean? 78 more games to go. We keep rolling. Klay Thompson in 32 minutes had 18 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. And Steph Curry in 30 minutes had 21 points, 7 assists, 1 rebound, 2 steals, and 1 block. Didn't really get the scrub love off of the bench that we thought we were going to get, because even though the game was out of hand in the first half, they still kept the starters on the floor. They still kept guys out there longer than they should have been. So let's check on the Oklahoma City side of the ball. Andre Roberson hit him with a nice little Euro step in the first quarter and went to the bench and sat down and didn't do anything and scored 2 points and 3 rebounds. Sabonis, 26 minutes, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. And Victor Oladipo led the team in scoring. He had 21 points in 30 minutes with 3 rebounds. Westbrook, even in that limited minutes and being heartbroken and playing, out there the way he was, he still had 20 points. 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Now, it was my intention the entire day to completely fade this game, which I shouldn't have. I should have given more consideration to Pachulia in my utility spot. But, you know what? I just couldn't bring myself. My better judgment told me that this was going to be a blowout and I was not going to see full starters minutes. So I completely faded this game, but I should have kept at least one hammer. And those of you that did that, I hope it paid off for you tonight. That's enough of that. Let's move on to this fantastic, fabulous, Freaky Friday 9-game slate. This is right in my wheelhouse. This is where I live. And we're going to jump right into this 9-game slate. We're going to start with the Atlanta Hawks going to the Washington Wizards. This is a 209.5 point total with Washington giving up 2 points. I guess it's because they're at home. And you know what? A recurring theme is going to be, rostering great ball handlers, great point guards when they're at home in the comfort of their own stadium. And John Wall is somebody who I really like in this game. I think going against Dennis Schroeder, Atlanta plays pretty good perimeter defense, but they're just some point guard talents that are just not going to be denied. And I really think that John Wall is somebody you can definitely get in your lineups, especially at that price. Now, let's go ahead and pull up the price guide so we can see exactly where we are. So we're going to pump fake, create a lineup. Open this up. NBA, of course, for the 9-game slate. Okay. And here we are. And just real quick to now of course the biggest name on the slate, the highest priced guy is going to be Anthony Davis. He's coming in at 10.9K against the Phoenix Suns at home. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about that. I like him. I really do. I like Anthony Davis. Of course, Kevin Durant 10.1, Lillard 9.1, Steph Curry 8.9. That price is gonna be creeping up. Chris Paul 8.6. That is still low. And John Wall, who we just talked about, is 8.5. You got Hassan Whiteside against Toronto, who I really like. He's 8.4. Kawhi Leonard, who I will not roster against Utah, 8.3. Blake Griffin 8.2, and DeMar DeRozan. That is too much for me. That is 8K flat for DeMar DeRozan. You got Jimmy Butler at 7.9. Draymond Green 7.8, who I like. Dwight Howard 7.7. I like him here. Kemba Walker going against the Brooklyn Nets against his former teammate Jeremy Lin. He's going to torch him. I like him. He's 7.5. We got Kyle Lowry at 7.3 against Miami, who I do not like. Goran Dragic against Kyle Lowry, who I do not like at all either. You've got D'Angelo Russell going against Golden State, 6.8. Point guards can get off against Golden State. The Lakers are going to be at home. We're going to talk about that. Point guards, ball handlers at the crib. We're going to talk about that. Nicholas Batum, of course, 6.6. Mike Conley looks good going against the Clippers, but Chris Paul defense is something else. Mike Conley's at home, but Chris Paul defense is something else. We've got Valanciunas, who I do not like, against Whiteside. Tim Frazier, someone who I really do like. We've got Dwayne Wade playing the Knicks. We're going to get to that Knicks narrative too. Schroeder against John Wall. Not a really good look for him. Derek Favors at 5.8K. That's something to pay attention to, I think. Derrick Rose, Narrative Street. Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah going back to Chicago. The NBA is, and sports in general, are such like storyline events, and there's sometimes where you just gotta follow the storyline. Now Chicago's very excited, very electric. Of course, he just won a World Series. Derrick Rose going home. He's a Chicago kid. I like him. I think I'm gonna get some Rose in there. But let's get back to the games. All right, so like I was saying, I do like John Wall tomorrow against the Atlanta Hawks. I like Otto Porter as well. He had a really good game out last time, and we talked about basketball being a game of runs, following the trends. When players are on an incline, you jump on and you roll with them. So I do like Otto Porter in this game. I love Dwight Howard as well. He's going to manhandle Gortat, and I think Millsap also has a bounce back game. Now his price is still fairly good, and I don't see a lot of people rostering him as readily. On one, it's a huge 9-game slate. Number two, he just had a bad game. So we can look for Millsap's ownership to hover around 9 to 14%, somewhere in around there, and I think that's pretty good. That's something to be had, right? Dennis Schroeder, I really don't like Dennis Schroeder tomorrow. If I had to pick like a cheap guy off of the bench, somebody, I'm gonna go Tim Hardaway Jr. Man, I'm gonna give him another shot. He had a really good game last time out. We hope he's on the incline. Can be seen an increase in minutes. We still got guys out. That Mike Scott absence is there, so Muscala is definitely in play for the cheapie if you needed somebody cheap. Overall, I like this game. It's a 209 total. It's in the mid-level, one of the higher mid-level point totals. So I like it. The next game I'm going to get into is going to be the Charlotte Hornets at the Brooklyn Nets. We just talked about this. Kemba Walker is one of my favorite players. He just is. And I like how hard he goes, and I really like him against Jeremy Lin defense, which is no defense at all. I mean, this is the only guy in the league who plays worse defense than James Harden, Jeremy Lin. He does not care to stop anyone. He tries so much harder on the offensive side than he does on the defensive side. And I think, I really believe that Kemba's going to make him pay for that. Now, when I really like Kemba, I also like Marvin Williams and or Nick Batum. Now, Nick Batum is going to be seeing a lot of Rondé Hollis Jefferson, so that would force me over to the side of Marvin Williams. Cody Zeller is going to be back, I believe, at full strength during this game. We've got Frank Kaminsky is always somebody to look at, and we don't have to worry about Roy Hibbert in this game. He's still going to be out. Trevor Booker is somebody who may be able to get you some good fantasy value too, because his last couple games have not been very good, and his price, I think he's down to like 4.7K, and that's a really good price for somebody who can go out there and get you a quick double-double, especially in a competitive game. This is a 205 total, and Charlotte is getting 6.5 points, but the Nets are home. Now, we saw what happened with the Nets. They just went out and they just beat a very good, I believe that was the Indiana team they beat the other night. So Brooklyn can play, and they've got Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is an awesome talent, and the more I'm talking about this game, the more I like Brook Lopez. I think you can fire him up as well. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Miami Heat at the Toronto Raptors. This is a 200 total. Very good defensive teams inside and out from the perimeter to the low block. Very good defensive teams. You're not going to see that that scoring explosion from DeMar DeRozan. I don't think you're going to see that. We've got Tyler Johnson to come off the bench and play defense when Justice Winslow is not going to be on him. So, and actually a lot of times that's what he does. He may not get off on the starter, but then when the second team comes in, because he does play a lot with the second team, he goes ham. And I think that Miami's not going to miss a beat when it comes to perimeter defense, whether there are starters or the second team in the game. So I would not, especially at that 8K price tag, I would not mess with DeMar DeRozan tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to have 0 DeMar DeRozan, and I'm not going to have too much Lowry either. Goran Dragic is somebody I do not like in this game. I don't like the backcourts, period, in this game. If I would go anywhere in the Miami and Toronto game, I would go Whiteside, definitely, on the Miami side, and Toronto, I would go DeMar Carroll. His ownership is going to be so low, and this is a good player. This is a good player, and I was just saying that's going to take something drastic for me to roster him again, and this is very drastic. You've got two teams that lock down the perimeter. DeMar Carroll is gonna be able to get rebounds, going to be able to maybe score, shoot that elbow jump that he likes so much, and I kind of like him. The only player I would roster from Toronto would be DeMar Carroll, but I'll probably fade the Toronto roster altogether, and I would just go Whiteside. The New York Knicks are traveling to Chicago, and this has Narrative Street written all over it. For that reason only, plus combine that with the fact that Derrick Rose has had a steady incline in his point totals, in his production, in his performance, in his comfort with the team. Plus, you got Rajon Rondo defense. You've got a crowd in Chicago that really still loves Derrick Rose, and it's not going to be, an awkward like when KD goes back to Oklahoma City. That's going to be awkward as fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be awkward as fuck. This is not going to be that way. They still love Derrick Rose. They know the team. It was like a nice breakup. It was a good breakup. So then you've got Joakim Noah, now who is 4.5K. Now I believe D Rose is like 5.4 or maybe 5.8, something like that. Let's check this to be sure. 5.6. He's 5.6. That's a very good price for a starting point guard that could get you a 20 and 10 assists and maybe 4 or 5 rebounds, a couple steals, right? He's going to be playing against a madman who's going to have the ball most of the game, and that is Rajon Rondo, somebody who is, prone to turnover. So I can definitely see rostering Derrick Rose in this game. I do not like Kristaps Porzingis. It seems like he's been kind of involuntarily phased out of the offense. You can go Melo, but you know how I feel about him. I really like rostering Melo. This is a 210 point total with New York getting 6 points on the Chicago side of the ball. I like Jimmy Butler, of course. He's gonna be somebody that we're not gonna be able to stop. So I like Jimmy Butler. Dwayne Wade. I like Nikolai Mirotic as well. At his price point, he's still going to be a very good play. And I think a deep punt option. Well, first we got to check to see what's up with Doug McDermott. But you can look at Isaiah Cannon, and you can look at Clinton. You can look at Bobby Portis as well. But if McDermott is not playing, if Dougie McBuckets is not playing, I like Isaiah Cannon to get some time off of the bench, get some of that scrub love that we like to have. Next game is going to be the LA Clippers at the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a -6 in favor of the LA Clippers. They're giving up 6 points to the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a 198 point total, one of the lowest point totals on the slate. I believe the second lowest point total on the slate, so that kind of scares me off altogether. And most of the time, when Washington Wizards play and the Clippers play on the same slate, I like to go Paul Wall on them, but not tonight. I don't like Chris Paul tonight. I don't like it. I just don't. I can't explain it. I just don't like. I don't like it. The point total is too low. It's a 9-game slate. We can get more for less in other spots. Even though Chris Paul is probably the best point guard in the league, we can definitely get more for less than Chris Paul. So I don't like him. I probably won't have him in many of my lineups if I have him at all. On the Memphis side, Mike Conley, Chris Paul defense. No, I don't like him. I kind of like DeAndre Jordan. There's going to be a lot of missed shots, which also leads me to like Marc Gasol a little bit in this game. But the point total is just so low that there's not much that I can do, with a game like this. So if I had to go anywhere on the Clippers side, it would be DeAndre Jordan. But I mean, we can pay down for bigs, or we can pay up a little bit more and have Whiteside. So I can't even see that being an option. And on the Memphis side, there's nothing really I like. Maybe Gasol, maybe James Ennis, But see, the Clippers' best defensive player is Luke Mbah a Moute, who's going to be on him, and he's going to play 16, 17 minutes. So I mean, nah. I think this game to me is a complete stay away. Next game to move on to is the Phoenix Suns at the New Orleans Pelicans, and I'm gonna tell you, this is a 212 total, very nice high total. It is a -3 point differential, so that means that we can automatically roster 4 to 5 players from both teams, right? Anytime, pay attention. Anytime you see that type of point total with that small of a differential, that means that is game stack potential. Now, I like Bledsoe in this game. I like Tim Frazier in this game. Of course, I love Anthony Davis going up against Tyson Chandler. I like T.J. Warren in this game. Now, his price is steadily creeping up. Let's check out what it is exactly to see. Let's check. T.J. Warren, 6.3K, and that's still not bad. That's not bad for what you're getting from him. What you need from him is about 36 fantasy points in order to be fantasy relevant. He's getting that. He's definitely getting that. Let's check out his game log to see exactly. And this is against some pretty good teams, right? His last 10 games, he's been averaging 35. Last 10 days, he's been averaging 35. That's pretty good. The last game, he had 37.1. So we can definitely take a look at TJ Warren, because he's getting better and better inside this offense. So I like TJ Warren definitely. All right. Excuse me. Let's get back here. I like. I mentioned TJ Warren. I do not like Brandon Knight in this game. I don't think it's going to be enough to go around to get him involved. The way it was last time against Portland. He had a really good game against Portland. Plus, I don't like Brandon Knight. Alrighty. Let's get in zoom in there a little bit. Okay. On the Pelican side of the ball, we were talking about I like Anthony Davis. I really do. I like Anthony Davis. I think he's going to be a really good play, and I don't think his ownership is going to be as high as it has been because he had that bad game last time, and that's always good. When they have that bad game, then you can jump on him the next game or two after that. I like Alex Lynn in this game. He's somebody who I really feel like should be in the starting rotation, like starting. But they love Tyson Chandler. They like to bring Lynn in off the bench. He plays well with the second team. He just plays well all together. So I definitely think Alex Lynn is somebody you can have in this game. And be on the lookout. Watch Marcus Chris too. Marcus Chris has had some pretty decent games. If you need that punt play at the forward, you can definitely roster Marcus Chris. Now I just got the notification from DraftKings, and we did double the buy-in. That's what you want. It's good when you get 10 times, 100 times, 50 times buy-in, but when you double your buy-in, it's a profitable night. It's good. That's what we want. Next game we're going to get into is going to be the Portland Trail Blazers going to Dallas. Now, Portland has just lost a couple games in a row, and we haven't seen what we like to see from Damian Lillard. I think we have a Dame game tomorrow. I really do. He is definitely, if I had to name one player right now who's going to be a part of my core four that I develop as I continue to, research the point totals, go back and look at what they've been doing and look at trends, he is somebody who is, for all first glance, just looking, he is definitely a part of my core four plays. You got to have Dame in your lineups tomorrow. And this is kind of like a Larry DeRozan situation where I like, not only do I like Dame, but I like CJ too. I like Dame and CJ in this game. This is a 206 point total, not very high, but just high enough for you to respect it, with Portland giving up 1.5 to Dallas. Now, of course we got to check the news throughout the day and see what's up with Dirk Nowitzki, see if he's having stomach pains, blah, 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 stuff that's been keeping him out of games. But for the most part, man, I like more than just Dame and CJ. I also like Al-Farouq Aminu. He's been playing excellent. And he's going to see some Harrison Barnes defense, which is no defense. And I like him. I like him too. The only player I really do not like from the Portland side is going to be Mason Plumlee. I don't like him in this game. I think it's going to be a struggle for him to rebound and score on the block with that many guys that Dallas has that attack the rebound and try to get out in transition. On the Dallas side, Darren Williams, no. Dirk, no. Harrison Barnes, maybe. Wesley Matthews, I like Wesley Matthews in this game. I kind of like Wesley Matthews in this game. And of course, I like J.J. Barea. As long as his price stays hovering around that 4K, I think we can start J.J. Barea with confidence and look for him to definitely, touch or exceed value. The next game I'm going to get into is going to be the San Antonio Spurs at the Utah Jazz. I like nothing about this game. Utah just beat San Antonio. I believe it was in San Antonio. Now they're back in Utah. It's a 186.5 point total, the lowest point total on the slate. San Antonio is giving up 4 to a team that just beat them. I don't like anything about this game. I do not like. I do not. The only thing that is kind of appealing to me is that everyone's going to be scared off of this game by the point totals, and so George Hill is probably going to go low owned as well as Kawhi Leonard. They're probably going to both go low owned. We don't know what we're getting from Derek Favors so far. He doesn't seem to be acclimated back from the injury. Trey Lyles sucks. Rudy Gobert is going to be banging with Aldridge. We know that Boris Diaw is out. So there's so much uncertainty when it comes to this game. If it was a higher point total, it would be worth it. It'll be worth the speculation, but it's really not because the point total is so low. So I'm going to be staying away from this game as much as possible, unless some unseen value opens up throughout the day. I'm going to be staying away from this game. The last game I'm going to get into is going to be the Golden State Warriors at the Los Angeles Lakers. This game has fantasy goodness written all over it, and tonight I will not go without the hammer that I did last night. You've got the Golden State Warriors giving up 10 points to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's a 226 over-under. It's a late games, 10:30. It's Friday night. It's going to be a lot of scoring, a lot of juking and jiving and dunks. And we've got a point guard that is at home that I really like in this game, that because he is playing the Golden State Warriors is not going to see the appropriate ownership. And his name is D'Angelo Russell. I like him. Fire him up. He is going to be a part of my core 4 tomorrow. He's at home. He's a point guard. He's a ball handler. You can get off against Golden State. They say it may get out of hand, but I think if I get 3 good solid quarters of D'Angelo Russell, he can make value for me. I like him. I like D'Angelo Russell tomorrow. It is a now on the Golden State side, like I always say, man, there's nobody that can roster with complete confidence on this Golden State team. Kevin Durant made a case tonight that, you know, he is like the best player on the team, but I think they really fed him because they wanted to rub it in Russell Westbrook's face. So I don't see that being the case every night. The only guy that I really can depend on this Golden State team is going to be Draymond Green, the cleanup man that does all the dirty work. Where will we go for the scrub love? I'm not sure. We've got to get some news on Timothy Mozgov to see if he's going to be playing. I kind of wish he isn't. That way we will see more of Larry Nance in the post and more Julius Randle with a handle on the post. You can forget the black guy, not the black dude, but the guy's his last name is Black. You can forget about him, and the Zubac guy. Fuck them. They're shitty. You're gonna see way more if Mozgov is out. You are gonna see way more Randle and of course Larry Nance Jr. A lot of people are going to be on this game because of the point total, but not as much as it would be if there were 2 marquee teams that we thought the game was going to be ultra competitive. But I do think in 3 quarters I can get what I need from D'Angelo Russell at that low ownership. All right, we went over the 5-game slate from last night. We went over the 10-game slate on today, on Friday. We talked about the heat check player of the night, which was Kevin Durant. We talked about the snowflake of the night, Matt motherfucking Barnes. And the Who Dat player of the night came out of nowhere and did his thing. And he's somebody that we definitely need to look to going forward. That was Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics. This has been another installment of the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Like, rate, subscribe, share the show. We want it to blow up. We love that it's such a close and tight-knit family, but there's always room for more people, more thoughts, more minds. And if you would like to support the show, you can definitely do that on the YouTube channel. If you need my my personal PayPal, it is simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. Thank you. Signing out. Let's go out Friday. and get this money. Peace.